Hello everyone. Today I am going to show you how to make a sound system for your games. This system is easy to understand and you can use it for any game you like. This is my starting project. As you can see, I have two scenes. One is called menu, another one is called game. I also have some user interfaces because I want to show practical use of the sound system. All the assets you need for this project, you can download them. Link will be in video description. Create a script called SoundSO. SoundSO will be our scriptable object. If you don't know what scriptable objects are, just consider them as a data container that you can access from anywhere in your project, and it will help you later. I'm going to show you how it can be useful for this system. Remove the default methods, replace mono behavior with scriptable object, then create asset menu. Now go back to Unity editor, right click on the project folder, go to create scriptable object SoundSO. Right now our scriptable object doesn't contain anything, so we need to give our SoundSO some properties. Our scriptable object will contain 4 types of information. Sound clip will contain the audio clip that we want to play. Sound name is a unique identifier, how we find the audio clip. On volume is the starting sound of the audio clip. Sometimes your audio can be too loud. We will use this variable to control the starting sound. And lastly, is loop will be responsible for is the audio will continue playing after one time or just stop. If you click on the SoundSO, you will see that 4 properties. Now drag and drop your background. Sound name, let's call it background. On volume, give it like 1. Is loop, yeah, we want our background to keep playing. Now create another script on project folder. Let's call it sound manager. Create an empty object on the scene. Also rename it to sound manager. Drag and drop your sound manager to the object. Open the script. Remove the default methods. First, we're going to take all the reference for our scriptable sound object. Go back to Unity editor. Right now we have just one. Let's rename it to like SoundSO background, duplicate, and let's call it button sound. Change the background to button. Change the name to button. On volume, also we don't our button sound to looping. Add button sound to our all sounds. Now go back to sound manager. We're going to create a dictionary which will contain a string as a key, and for the value which will be our audio source. If you don't know what audio source is the component responsible for playing the sound. So go back to your hierarchy, create an object called audio object. Go to add component and search for audio source. Here it takes the audio clip and all the settings you can see. Right now you don't have to know all the things, just uncheck the play on awake and drag and drop your audio object to your project folder. We are making a prefab of our audio source. Then go back to sound manager, take a reference for that object, so public game object. Now go back to Unity editor, drag and drop your audio object prefab to sound manager. Now I'm going to create independent audio source for each of the sounds, which will give us more control on our sound system. On sound manager, create a method called setSounds. We are going to run a for each loop here. Sound. For each of the sound object, I'm going to instantiate a new audio source object. So temp object equal to instantiate audio source object, and as its parents I'm going to give the sound manager transform. Then let's rename the audio source to our sound name. That's why we can identify the which audio source is playing which sound. Then I'm going to take the reference for our source, temp object dot get component. Lastly, I'm going to add our newly created audio source to our dictionary. Now I'm going to call our set sounds from a wake method. So set sounds, I'm going to call it from wake method, that because I want to run it once. Go back to Unity Editor. If you press play now, you can see Sound Manager has sound as a background and button. So we have two sounds and we created two audio source. Now we have to play the sound. Create another method. Let's call it public void play sound, which will take a sound SO. I'm going to run a loop here for each all sounds. If sound dot name will equal to sound SO dot name, then if our sound dictionary dot try get value, which will take sound dot name as a key, out audio source. If we found the audio source, then I'm going to set source dot clip equal to sound dot sound clip, source dot volume equal to sound dot on volume. Finally, source dot is loop, which is loop equal to sound is loop. Then if we found the value, we can just return from here. We don't need to run our for loop anymore. Let's play our background sound. For that I need sound SO. In wake method, I'm going to set play sound background SO. On Unity Editor, on the sound manager, add background sound, and if you press play, our sound is not playing. Oh, I forgot to do one more thing, is here source dot play. Now our background is playing. As you can see on my screen, I have couple of buttons on the menu scene. If I press play now, you see the problems. Whenever I switch scenes, my background stops. For fixing this problem, I'm going to take help from singleton pattern. So I'm going to create a static reference for our sound manager. In our wake method, I'm going to check if instance equal to null, then instance equal to this. Don't destroy on load. This will make sure that whenever our scene changes, it doesn't destroy our sound manager. Also, if you come back to menu scene again, if it's not null, we are going to destroy this game object. Now if you go back to Unity Editor and press play, so our problem is fixed and we can play background sound. And now what about the other sound? So for that, I'm going to give you an example. On our UI manager, I'm going to take reference for our sound SO, which will be our button SO. Whenever player click the buttons, I'm going to take the reference for sound manager dot instance play sound button SO, and I'm going to set it for each of the buttons. On our Unity Editor, I'm going to drag and drop the button SO here. So if I press play now, I think our background sound is too loud, so let's give the starting background sound to like 0.5. Now we found another issue. Let's fix this one. If you go over to game scene and UI manager, we have to assign our button as here. So here's my point. As you can see, like if I want to call our audio manager from anywhere, I have to call by this string. But because I'm doing with scriptable object, I don't have to worry about the unique identifier of the sound. I just call it from anywhere I want. So use scriptable object for this system if you can. This is it for today, guys. If you have any question or need further assistance, please feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching.